You know, we're just going to go ahead and get started. I know we had two presidential diamonds on our team. Well, I call it our team. We're all under Chantel somewhere, but we all kind of do our stuff together. And we had them, they were on the Show Me the Money call with Pam. So I know a lot of people are listening to that. So they will hop on when they get done. But anyways, thank you guys so much for agreeing to spread love to my team and wisdom. And I am just super excited. How's your Monday going?
Oh, it's been going. It's been going so good. We've been busy. We're getting ready to go to John Maxwell tomorrow. And then we were chosen out of a few hand-selected people to be a part of this new project that he's doing that pertains to network marketing. So we're super pumped, and we can't wait to get there and hopefully be able to spill the beans, because it's so hard keeping this secret.
I mean, okay, so Joel talked to me about this, and Stephanie, like, I guess at conference, and of course they couldn't tell me anything, but like, it's going to be stuff we can use, right?
Oh my gosh, you guys are going to be blown away by it. Let's just say that it's going to give so much more credibility to our industry. So we're really, really excited to be a part of it and to pioneer it with him and give our input. So yes. So anyway, that's all we can say, though. We can't give it away.
I know. I'm not going to ask you any more questions, but I seriously got goosebumps because he is one of my favorite authors, speakers. Oh, I love him. So yay. And what better two people to go represent our company, you two, and whoever else. So anyways, I am super excited for that. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Why don't we take the first few minutes and you guys kind of just, I don't know who wants to go first, but kind of talk to us about, how you found it works. One team I love about them is their backstory. Y'all are the cutest couple in my eyes. I remember when I first joined 5.5 years ago, and I think it was a green carpet. Actually, no, it was green carpet, and you guys are on stage. And I remember asking Chantel all these questions about y'all. But I think it's because you guys are from the South, and I'm from Alabama, and so I just love Southern people so much. So tell us a little bit about you guys.
Okay, so we have been in the business. It'll be 7 years in July, you guys. It's just crazy that it's gone by this fast. I feel so, I'm like one of the old ladies of It Works now. I'll be 40 this year, and it's crazy. But
she does not look a day over 30.
Thank you. I love you. Great skincare products, right? But 7 years ago when I found this, Chad was an active duty Army officer, and I was a stay-at-home homeschooling mama. And even just to back it up a little bit before that, because I feel like it's really important when you see top leaders, it's real easy to think that, oh, they must have been handed everything, or, oh, their lives must have been so easy, or they had such a huge network, or what. And so I like to share like really where I came from. You guys, I was sexually abused as a child. I dropped out of high school my junior year. I have a learning disability. I come from nothing. My parents got divorced when I was little. My mom was a single mom, and we barely were getting by for the longest time. And I barely saw my dad. So I had daddy issues, abandonment issues. I started having sex at a very early age that I just pray my kids never do. And I turned to drugs and alcohol to medicate my painful past with the abuse. And so I did that all the way into my 20s. I dated the wrong kinds of guys. If there was an idiot within 10 miles, somehow I found him. Chad was not an idiot. But I literally just attracted these guys who emotionally abused me, physically abused me, put me in the hospital. And I don't know why. I just kept going down that path. And then, of course, I felt like I needed to escape from my past. And so I was doing more and more drugs to the point where I had done so much ecstasy. I don't know why that was my drug of choice back in the day, but I did it so much that I burned holes on my brain, and I started having seizures from it. And you know what? Even though I was going to the doctor and seeing a neurologist, I didn't care. I just kept doing it, which is really sad and stupid, so don't. And by the time I met Chad, I was literally at the lowest point in my life. I had to step down from doing hair because I was having seizures, and they would come on so suddenly that my doctors were afraid, and I was afraid that I would have a seizure in the middle of doing a haircut and hurt myself or hurt someone. Couldn't drive because I was having random seizures and panic attacks. And so when I met Chad, I was at my lowest point, but he was a singer in a rock band. He was a smooth talker. I met him at a benefit, and he like sang to me all night. And then he, I don't know how he got my phone number, because
you're giving lots of details.
Yeah.
She never gives this many details.
Look, I don't know how. I just think somebody needs to hear this, because you guys got to understand how screwed up We were. So if there's anybody sitting here right now and you're like, man, God can't use me. I just want you to know, like, I am just a career screw up. And so I met Chad. Somehow he talked me into giving him my number, and then he called me and I answered my phone. And so I ended up meeting him out later that night. We did everything wrong, y'all. I was kind of a hoe back then. So I slept with him that night. We moved in together like a week later. And 2 months after that, I found out I was pregnant with my oldest. Now, mind you, I'm still partying. I'm still a mess. But God knew, even though I didn't know God, God knew me. And he knew that I couldn't give up the drugs for myself, but he knew that I would do it for my child. And so for me, it was super easy to stop everything and get sober, knowing that I was carrying precious life inside of me. And so during that process of being pregnant, and Chad and I realizing that we both come from such broken pasts, it was just, we wanted to find a church. And we only wanted to go to church because we wanted to find good parents that we could learn to model ourselves after. So we went that Sunday and we both got saved. And we've been on this journey ever since. And that was 15 years ago. And so now fast forward, we find it works 7 years ago. And having all the weight, even though I feel like I'd had a lot of healing and redemption from my past, I still had a lot of shame that I carried for many, many years. And I never thought that God could use me in a big capacity because I had wasted so much of what I felt was good. But what was so neat, you guys, and I get choked up when I talk about this, is that even though I didn't feel like, I felt like I was used up garbage and that God couldn't use my mess. But he just kept saying, there's good in you. There's good in you. And you are my daughter, and I'm going to use you. And so who knew that it was going to be It Works? It was going to be the answer to our prayers. It was going to bring me out of my shell. I'm an introvert. I'm losing my voice. I'm an introvert. And so this was so foreign to me to get on calls, and we promoted so fast in the company and to do this stuff. And I just wanted to be in fetal position. And, oh, thank you, baby. But at the end of the day, I am so freaking blessed that God decided to take my mess and turn it into a message. So 7 years ago, I became a customer. 7 years ago, I tried the wraps for the first time during the great wrap shortage when I had to get wraps on the black market because the company was on back order for I think it was 2 months back order, maybe even 3 months back order. It was crazy. But one of the girls in my upline sent me 2 wraps and through the mail, and I tried them. I had amazing results. And so for us at that point in time, it was a no-brainer. I was looking for something I could do part-time in my spare time. Chad was working his butt off, gone 14, 16 hours a day. And I just wanted to contribute somehow, but still maintain our lifestyle of homeschooling our kids. Go ahead, baby. I'm going to drink some more.
Okay. And man, Jaree's sharing a lot tonight, but what I want to share is just
I love y'all's story. I love her story, you guys. Talk about being bold. We talk about being bold and to share our most vulnerable moments because people can relate. I'm sure, I know I could relate to a little bit of her story, just feeling like you're garbage and you've made so many mistakes, and it's just amazing. So, and one thing I love about you, Jaree, that I have to point out is that when it's intimidating sometimes, you guys, to when I promoted so quickly, and these two right here, they always have an open arm for every single person in this company. When I think of the word ambassador, you two out of a handful of people that I really admire are 2 of those people. And so I just want you to know that I really, really, really admire you guys and look up to you both. So anyways, go ahead, Chad.
For me, it was a little different. I just remember at a young age, probably 15 or 16, thinking that someday I was going to be successful, just someday. And I was chasing the wrong things for years in the 90s. Pretty much all the 1990s, I thought I was going to be a full-time musician, So I was with a band and we put an album out, but it was rock and roll, and I wanted to live the rock and roll lifestyle. So that got me in a lot of trouble in the 90s. But this industry of network marketing, I first heard about it in 1994. And It Works is actually my 5th company. And, I kept coming back to this industry because the idea of being able to build people and build something and have residual income and get paid multiple ways, it just made sense for me because I just knew there had to be more than trading my time for an hourly wage. I mean, I worked at a car factory one time and I was making like, and I was, I don't know, 22, 23, and I was making like $22.50 an hour. So when I got the job, I was like, this is so awesome. This is crazy amount of hourly wages. And that was one of the most miserable times of my life because I was not created to be in a car factory. You know, I wasn't created to be in a cubicle. And so I just kept coming back to this industry. And it's funny because during my fourth company, Jaree and I were actually the end of being with my third company is when we met. And then I joined a fourth company when I was in the military, and it actually caused problems between us. And we went to counseling.
I literally told the pastor, if he joins another one of these dang companies, I'm going to divorce him. And the pastor was like, do you hear what your wife is saying?
Oh my God, I did not know this about your story, Chad.
Oh my gosh, and he was in so many companies, and mind you, he's been in the military this whole time, so he works long hours, and I was a stay-at-home mom, so when he got home, I needed him to like connect. I needed to talk to an adult because I've been talking to children under like 4 all day. And I was done with the industry. That's what's so crazy about this. I told him no more because he was trading so much time for very little money. Like, you guys have no idea how special It Works is. It's so special that I tried the wraps and I was like, we're doing this. We're doing it. And it wasn't because
I was like, who is this person saying we're doing this network
I'm
marketing
like, you guys, or Chad, not you guys, he has multiple personalities. Yeah. Chad, we can at least get these free products because we couldn't afford to keep getting the products, but I knew I could sell enough to my friends to be able to get some for free. So that's where it started. And then it was $300 to $500. That's all we needed. I wanted nail money. I wanted to be able to go to the grocery store and buy the groceries that I wanted and not get the groceries that we had to because those were the ones we could afford. There was just so many things that this was going to do for us, help us pay off the credit card and the student loan debt that we were drowning in. See, people think that soldiers make great money as an officer, and while they make okay money, it's not as great as you think it would be for what they do. And then to partner that with the fact that we just kind of sucked with money, that we weren't very great with it. And so we were just trying to get out of the hole, and that's what this was going to do for us. But you can imagine our surprise when our first month we went Emerald. Okay. In 1 month we went Emerald. You guys, I put wraps on over 40 people my first month. Now, most of you know that I'm social media all the way. I've done 95% of my business on social. Okay. But I didn't know a thing about Facebook or Instagram when I got started in the business 7 years ago. I did have my own Facebook account, but I think I had less than 100 friends on there. And so I literally, as an introvert, I'm inviting people over to my house and having them and putting wraps on them. And it's crazy. You say, how can you afford to put 40 wraps on people? Well, every time I signed up 2 customers, I got my wrap rewards. And we were just slinging it. And everybody that I put a wrap on, I didn't ask them if they wanted to be a loyal customer. Like, it was never a yes or a no. I said, do you want to be a loyal customer and enjoy these perks, or do you want to use these products and make money? So it was like, do you want to be a loyal customer or distributor? There's not a no in that. It's either or. And so we signed.
Did you guys hear that? I feel like that is probably one of the little things I'm going to take away. Because sometimes I forget to do that. But you guys, she didn't give them an option of no. Why are we giving people option of no? We have amazing products that work, and we have an opportunity that works. So why would we give them the option of no?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we put those 40 some wraps, it translated into 27 loyal customers and 14 distributors our first month. And then of course the team grew more from that. And then the following month we did the same thing. We put 40 to 50 wraps out on people, and we basically did the same thing and went Diamond. And Chad he always promoted when I did. So when I went at Emerald, he was my Ruby. When I went Diamond, he was my Emerald. And so then here's what had happened, and then I'll let you take over this. So what had happened was, we were doing great. We had hit Diamond and we were like pumped to keep pushing for double. And then we get like the worst news ever. I find out that Chad is getting deployed to Afghanistan. Now, mind you, for the years that we were in the military, God kept him from deploying. He even tried to deploy at one point, and God was like, no. And so this was going to be my first deployment. We had just moved to Fort Campbell. So when I started this business, you guys, here's another thing. We started this business when we had just moved to Fort Campbell. We had no church, no friends, didn't even know our neighbors, yet we put 40 wraps physically on people, because when we were out and about, we were just shoving our results pictures in people's faces saying, hey, who do you know would want this? And one of the things that I did that was so monumental in getting women over to my house was in the grocery store, because we all go there. I would have my phone and I would talk to myself wherever I was standing, whether it was in line or it was over by the produce. And I would just be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe what these wraps did to my body. And you know, you can feel people's eyes on you when you do that. And then I'm like, girl, you got to see this. And then, you know, she's like, oh my gosh, what did you do? And I'm like, I can't even explain it to you. You just got to come to my house. It's like $25. I can put one on you. We can see what it does. And then next thing you know, I've got girls coming over while my kids are napping, and I'm putting wraps on them. And Chad's going to work, and he's sharing with the guys pictures of me, himself, his sister, and saying, hey, who do you know that for $25 would want to see what their results were like? So it was indirect, so that it's not like, hey, so that they think that you think
everybody
they're fat.
is curious.
Everybody. Well, I wrapped so many dudes, you guys, so many soldiers. I wrapped soldiers that had 6-packs or 8-packs that just wanted to look better. Chad actually wrapped one that wanted to look better on his wedding night.
Holly, can I just interrupt for a minute and ask something, because I feel like I'm going to forget it. So please remember. So here I am thinking, you started this company before we had the keto coffee, the collagen, the keto lime, the keto energy, the hydrate that I wish would hurry up back in stock, all these cool things, right? And it's like, I know there are people on here right now that are thinking right now, well, these two are ambassador diamonds. They've been in the company for so long. Oh my gosh, she says she's an introvert, but she really doesn't, she's not acting like an introvert. How did she do that? Like, how did she get up the nerve to do that? Can you just speak from where you were in that moment in your life to when you, like, why you did that? Because when I know you guys did that because you had a belief in something. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, you guys, part of it is so much passion, because I am an introvert, and I am the girl that if I'm in a crowd of people that I don't know, I'm just going to sit back and be quiet. But when I go to a good movie, or I go to a hairdresser and she just rocks out my hair, then I'm naturally going to talk about who they are and what I'm passionate about. I'm going to tell people to go see this movie. I'm going to tell them to go to this hairdresser. I'm going to tell them to go to that new restaurant. And so just to bring up conversation. So why not tell them what products I'm passionate about and what I'm using, and show them? Because here's the thing, this is the disconnect in this business. If you are not signing customers and distributors, I can almost guarantee that you are not using the products. You have to fall in love with all of our products over and over and over again. And the only way that you do that is by being consistent. And so that's the missing link for you. If you're struggling, you need to be using those products, and you need to share from a place of passion and not feel like it's an obligation. And you have to remember that what we have to offer is a blessing. Literally, somebody right now is praying for an opportunity so that they can be able to stay home with their kids, or that they're a single mom and something's got to give. But you're afraid, so afraid of being rejected, that instead of going up to her or sending her that message, you're just paralyzed in fear. And you know what? You don't realize what you have your hands on, because if you did, you wouldn't care what other people think. You guys, hear me when I say this. You cannot afford to care what other people's opinions are of you. Your job in this business is to collect decisions. Yes or no. It doesn't matter if you get no's. You collect decisions and you plant seeds. We plant the seeds and we trust God to grow the trees. It's so, so incredibly important that you are obedient to that still small voice, and you message that person, you blitz that person, you do those things, because then it's on them. But you are doing them a disservice by not talking to them about this.
Yeah, so let me share real quick, because we go back to this a lot, because the higher your belief level is, the easier it is to share. Right? And the more you share with confidence, because you believe.
Yes.
And it really just circles back around to that. You know, we always talk about you have to build your belief in the products. Well, the best way to do that is to use them, because I guarantee if you try all the 40 products we have, plus you're going to have 4, 5, 6, or in our case, like 10 plus that you love, and that you use all the time. Right. And then you're going to be talking about them. So you have to develop belief in the products. You have to develop belief in the industry. I mean, there is nowhere else I know of that you can get paid the money that we can get paid in this company. It's just ridiculous what's possible. And when we went to our first conference, for me personally, it was the Bowmans. I heard Shelby and Tyson Bowman's story, and I thought to myself, my gosh, if this young couple who's just kind of getting started off in life can do this, then of course we can do this too. And it just downloaded that belief. So that's why you have to get into those events, right? The events are so important because you're going to build the belief in the products. You're going to build the belief in the industry. And then once you understand that multi-level marketing or relationship marketing or network marketing, whatever you want to call it, is the way to go, then you have to know why it works, right? You got to understand why you're in it works. I know a lot of people just lucked out and it works as their first company and they have nothing to compare it to. Well, trust me when I say it works is an anomaly, because we have products that are $30 and $40. Most companies' products start at like $80 or $90, so they price out over half the population.
Well, and not
right
to mention that being in this company for 7 years, we've seen it hit momentum twice now. Mm-hmm. Do you know that most companies, MLM companies, network marketing, never hit momentum? Like they never get to this where we're at. And we've done it twice in 7 years. And I know people that have been in longer have hit it more than that. That's incredible. You literally are making history right now with It Works Global, because we are in momentum. We're breaking industry records. We are going to have our best year yet. And you wonder if you got in at the wrong time and that because we got in 7 years ago that we have a better shot. Heck to the no. People that are getting in right now have a better shot. You have more products. You have the company that is giving you more promos. We never had stuff like they're having right now. You guys, it is so much easier now than it was before.
So all that, you got to believe in the industry. You got to believe in It Works. You got to believe in the products. And then you got to believe in yourself. And sometimes that's the hardest one. So you guys are all on the right track because you're plugging into this Zoom and you're plugging in with Amy. And obviously Amy's just a constant example. And I think of we're all like our own little lighthouses. And there's so many people out there that are drowning and they're on ships and they're lost. And they see that little blinking light. And that's what's going to attract them to you and to your business is hope. Because that's really, at the end of the day, we get to offer hope to people, hope. And for a lot of people, it starts with just the idea that they could make a couple extra $100 a month. I mean, that's really all we need. When Jaree and I met, we lived at her grandma's house, and I was making like $10 an hour, and our budget was like $1,500 a month. And here we are, like struggling, like we were on the struggle bus for sure. And just looking for a chance, looking for something to be able to do. So, 2012 is funny because for me, I was an officer in the Army and I had to go through all these things because of my past. I had all these waivers and I had to pay off all these fines and I had to finish my 4-year degree, which took me 15 years from when I started. So I took a slow they talk about success being a straight line. Well, for me, like even a 4-year degree was like this, like detour, wow, finally. So I went through all that to finally in 2010 be an officer. And within 2012, at the beginning, I would have told you had to drag me from the Army kicking and screaming. And by the end of the year, we were very, very open to making a complete and total career change. So when 2013 conference came around, it was like we were sitting there leaning forward.
Well, and even before that, I want you guys to understand this because I know life happens to all of us. Some of you have had like runs and then life's happened and you feel like everything's just fallen apart. So I want to speak to that because we've had that happen. But when I had gone diamond and we were really pushing for double, we found out Chad was deploying while he was deployed in Afghanistan. Well, first of all, let me just tell you this. When we found out he was going to deploy, I went into a huge funk. I was in the deepest, darkest depression I think I've ever been in. And I did not get on any calls. I didn't message anybody. I didn't rap anybody. I didn't do anything. I did nothing for my business for 3 months. And here's what's so cool, you guys. I'm not saying don't do anything with your business. What I am saying is that for 3 months, I still got a diamond paycheck. And for the first time, I got to understand and see what residual income really was. And that's when the light bulb went off for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm still getting paid based off of the efforts from months ago. Like, this is incredible. Like, I get paid when I sleep. Do you guys get paid when you sleep from your job? You work hard with this and you put the work in, then you get paid, right? You work, get paid. So you have this, it feels a little unbalanced because you're putting a lot of work in and getting paid very little at first. But then you're work, get paid. 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 Paid. That's how network marketing works. You put in the work first. And yes, it does seem like it's not like your normal clock in, clock out. You're trading time for money, time for money.
You might be making $5 an hour for the first few months, but guess what? Later on, you could be making $150.
We get paid when we sleep. Like, that is so freaking cool. But you guys, if I would have quit when it was hard, we wouldn't be making the money that we make. Our first full year in the business, we gave away more money than we ever made in a year. How crazy is that? So while Chad was deployed, our son got sick. Our youngest started bleeding internally in the middle of the night. I couldn't even call Chad. He was in Afghanistan. I could not call him, could not let him know that the doctor had told me that my child has a 50% chance of living right now. We got him to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, and they did the life-saving surgery, the emergency surgery on him that was necessary to save his life. And the Red Cross intervened and got Chad to be able to come back, and a whole thing happened. But this is where it all changed for me, you guys. One, I realized that I was still getting paid when I was doing nothing. Two, I realized that I had a why finally. Like, I didn't want the Army to dictate whether or not my husband could be with me or not. I didn't want $100,000 a year that he was going to be making keep him gone away from us. I drew my line in the sand. And what Chad was getting ready to talk about is we went to conference in 2013, our first one. And we got to see the big picture. We got to see the heartbeat of the company. We got to see Pam and Mike and Cindy and Mark and really see what they were about. And we got to see what exactly we were partnering with. And when we realized that these people were legit, they were Christ followers, they were, teaching how to give back, like that was our DNA. And so that's what, for us, that's what really got us to stick. It was because of what we knew we were partnering with. And so we came out of that conference and we went double diamond. In February, we went in January. February, we went double diamond. March, we went triple. In April, we went ambassador. Okay, so you guys, in 101 days, hear me now. This is crazy, right? Because you could do this right now. You could draw your line in the sand, and you could say, I'm going to spend 90 days or 101 days, and I'm going to balls to the wall, work my business. I'm going to say no to the TV. You can DVR it. I'm going to say no to date night just for a little while. I'm going to say no to my kids' extracurricular activities because sometimes you give up the good for the great. And I and mommy, whatever it is, wifey, mommy is going to do whatever I can to get you that trip to Disney that you've always been dreaming of. Mommy, wifey is going to help pay off that car that you want to pay off. Whatever it is, like you sit down and you dream with your family and then you take action. I'm telling you, if you take massive action for 90 to 100 days, you will completely change the trajectory of your business. And what does that look like? It means that you've got to get comfortable talking to people, whether it's through social, whether it's on the phone. Chad and I did tons of three-way calls. In that 101-day run, I knew my ratio. We all have a ratio. I was
losing my voice. I mean, how many days have you had with your business where you talk to so many people you lost your voice? That's when you know you're pushing pretty hard. Or when your fingers are cramping and sore and you're like, I got to stretch my hands again for the 5th time because my thumbs are sore from texting so many people.
So we figured out our ratio. Our ratio for us personally was that we had to get on the phone with 3 to 5 people every single day. These people are people we've never talked to before about the business that we just shared about the business. And if we talked to 3 to 5 every day, then that translated into about 20 distributors a month, which is what we needed to keep promoting each month and then keep our team doing, because we also did 3-way calls for our team. And to talk to 3 to 5 people every day, because I was meeting them on Facebook and then getting them, I knew I had to book like 6 to 10 a day because people are flaky and they wouldn't show up or they'd forget. And so that was our formula that worked for us. Now I do a lot more behind the scenes on social because I've gotten more savvy at that. But you guys have to figure out what works for you, and no matter how boring.
Do you still talk to people on the phone?
Yeah, we do. We just did a 3-way call today.
I think I did 4 3-way calls today with different people.
Yeah.
They usually join when you talk to them on the phone.
Yes, I promise you. I don't know. And Yes, I think we sometimes, and don't get me wrong, I love social media, but I think that that's where you hook and sink them, right? But then you get them on the phone. That's where you get them to give you your number. There's something about getting them on the phone, y'all, that just, it makes it so real for them. And I'm a huge believer in three-way calls. I had a girl go double diamond in 3 months, and we strictly built her business. We filled her double diamond chart with three-way calls. We had a 98% rate. 98% rate of people that we talked to, they all enrolled.
Yeah, it's incredible. It really, I feel like that's the one thing, when you think about it, you guys, that's the one thing that algorithms can't affect. Get people on the phone. Now, a lot of millennials are there, they just want to text. And so I've been okay with that, you know, voice memoing them or texting them because they just don't want to get on the phone, and that's okay. They're still signing up and they're killing it on Instagram. So, you know, you don't push it, but the people that are willing to get on the phone with you, that's where you make the connection. That's where, I know for us, it just looks like I get them on the phone, I meet them, I figure out what color they are just by asking a few questions about their lives and about what they do and what they would hope It Works would do for them. And I kind of figure out what their main personality color is so that I can kind of change my conversation I'm going to have with them to fit their personality the most. So I know if they're going right for the money, that they're red. And so I'm going to be more direct.
And sorry, no, but I want to touch on that, y'all, because I'll be honest, I led the color panel at the last, you know, It Works event. You know, Chad was on my panel and he freaking rocked it. But it's funny because I've just now started using the color panel, and what or the color personality test, and what she says, y'all, I posted the link to the test on our team page. But you guys, when I got back from that boot camp, I started doing what Jaree said. I asked a couple simple questions to my potentials. And when you speak to their language, I had 3 enroll in 1 week because of that. And it was like crazy how I just changed the tune of, like, if they were blue, I talked about all the fun stuff. But if they were green and really wanted to know how to make the money and all that, I had to give them the boring stuff, even though I'm not blue, you know, or I'm not green. So really, y'all study those and really get to know those, because when you can speak to them and speak to someone's color, it makes communication. And y'all, here's a little tip. Do it for your family members. Those family members that, you know, you have like trouble communicating with, really learn their color personality. I promise you it'll help you.
Yeah, because we tend to talk to people like our dominant color is, we're all a rainbow. Okay, don't get me wrong, but I'm more red. And so I'm like real direct and to the point, and don't ask me a question if you don't want the honest to God's truth, because I'm not good at sugarcoating things. And even if I do try, my face says it all. I have that natural RBF. So people just know. I just don't lie because they can read it all over here. But I'm telling you, when you can learn theirs and tailor the way like when I talk to a yellow, you guys, I even talk slower and quieter, and I calm my voice on purpose. And I talk about all the ways that our company helps people and all the different gives back programs that we have. And I talk about how the company has helped me and how I get to help other people. And I literally change it when I'm trying to be blue, which, just so you know, blue is my lowest color. I am like, I talk faster and I'm so excited and you're going to love this. And I even get a higher pitch in my voice, to the point where when people join my team, they're like, I thought you were a blue, but you're not. And I'm like, sorry, gotcha. And then you just get good at that. If you get good at being able to adapt in those conversations, then you're going to relate more to those people. And it's going to save you a ton of time and heartache, because a yellow could give 2 craps less what bonuses we have on the table. They don't care about the money. They want to know how they can help. A blue doesn't really care about anything but having fun. And so you just have to tailor it. And if it's a green, greens are great, you guys. Greens drive me a little bonkers sometimes, but they're great. Once they get in and they do their research and you give them everything, they are the most loyal people, loyal, consistent people.
Most disciplined
people. They
too.
kill it in this business. So if you are patient and you answer all of their questions without making them feel like an idiot, I'm telling you, they will be amazing for your business.
As a general rule, somebody asked, can you share questions? So as a general rule, I think God gave us 1 mouth and 2 ears for a reason, like a 2-to-1 ratio, right? So ask questions and listen. And there's so much. When you just listen, I mean, you can ask someone what they like most about their job and then what they like least about their job, right? They're going to tell you so much when you just ask that question. You can ask someone to tell you a little bit about themselves and how they see It Works fitting into their life. And they'll tell you, you'll know their color, personality so easily just by asking them that, because they'll say, well, I see that I could help some friends out. I got some family members that are, struggling with weight or they need more energy. And then you're like, okay, they're talking about helping, they're focused. Or maybe you already know they're a nurse and they talk about how they love to help people. That's why they became a nurse or why they became a counselor or a doctor, because maybe they are yellow. Or if they're just talking about how excited they are about the idea of joining, now you're kind of going into blue territory. Or if they're all about the money and they're ambitious and they're basically telling you about all their accolades and all they've accomplished in life.
I would say the best question would be, what would you want? What would you want It Works to do for you? Because then they'll tell you, oh, I want to help my mom, buy her house, or I want to have fun and meet more people. I really want to make money. So I think that's probably the number one that you should ask.
And sometimes maybe you need to dig a little bit because they're like, oh, I just want to make anything extra would help. And you say, well, what are some areas that you need help the most? And just get them to start sharing, just kind of get them to open up and start sharing a little bit more, because maybe then you find out their husband and they never see their husband and he hates his job and it's destroying his body. Now you're digging into where that why is, right? And I want to talk about the why just real quick here. I pulled up this picture. I know a lot of you have heard the story and we didn't get a chance to go into it a whole lot, but when I was in Afghanistan, I found out about my little guy right there, Elijah, who was 2 at the time, and he was literally battling for his life. And I found out on Facebook, Jaree's asking for prayers, and I'm 7,000 miles from home, and I can't get home right away because I'm a soldier first. I've got to, do what I've got to do in the military. And then when I'm done with that, then I can come home. So you can imagine, as any of you with your children, right? If you know anything wrong with your children, you're like, drop everything. Nothing else matters. Going home right now. I'm like, I got to go home, take care of my wife, my kids. And I was in an airport on Wi-Fi when I found out, and I had to literally fly the wrong direction. And it took me over 36 hours to get back to the airport where I found out at. And so you can imagine all the way home, I'm thinking, I mentally retired at that point. And I had a never again moment. I said, never again will I be in this situation. Never. I think some of you probably need to have a never again moment, or maybe you've already had a never again moment. And here's what I can tell you is the fuel, the why is so important. It's the fuel, because when you have the fuel, I'll tell you a quick story. I heard there's a guy and he was pretty heavy. I think he was 400 plus pounds, right? And he would go on diet, go on weight loss, and lose like 50 pounds, do pretty good. And then he'd eventually get off it and he'd gain the weight back. And finally, he just decided that none of the diets worked for him. And he's just a bigger bone person. And he was just going to have to deal with being 400 pounds. Well, he's out with his daughter one day. I think she's about 10. And they're having dinner and she literally passes out, gets rushed to the emergency room. And she's having like a kidney failure or something. I think it was kidney. And so immediately the father's like, I want to donate a kidney. Right? Take mine. And they did the tests and stuff. And they said, sir, it'd be too dangerous. We can't take yours. You just weigh too much. And he's like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And they said, well, you'd actually need to lose like 100 pounds in the next 3 months. Do you guys doubt for 1 second that father lost 100 pounds in the next 3 months? Of course not. Of course he lost whatever. It could have been 150.
It's a true story, you guys.
He would have lost all that weight. So here's what I know. I would bet a month's pay, 2 months pay on every single one of you here. Because here's the scenario that I know. If somebody came into your house and they took your babies, or they took your spouse, I'm assuming you love your spouse, okay? If they took your babies, they took your spouse, or Mother's Day, maybe you're not married, don't have kids yet. They took your mama, right? And there's a little note there that said, hey, you need to promote and It Works in your business every single month for the next 3 months. You need to promote every single month. I have no doubt every single one of you on here would promote every single month for the next 3 months, because you would be the one that's like up early. I think, Amy, you do like an early morning, like Zoom, work Zooms and stuff, right?
Yes.
So you're like getting up early. So everyone, you would have 59 people on here every single time you offer Zoom. They'd be up. They'd be like, boom, bright-eyed, bushy-tail, 4:30, 4 o'clock, whatever it takes, up till 11, 12 o'clock at night. They'd be losing their voice every day. Their fingers would be sore from typing. They would just be doing everything. They would be getting 10 times the amount of work done that the average distributor gets done in a day. We have a girl on our team, and she was like around the Ruby level, and she was just kind of stuck there. And one day her dad said, you signed up like 15 people in a month. Have you ever challenged yourself to sign someone every day and just do it every day? And she's like, no. And he said, I think you can do that. And so she started putting in the effort to get the results. And she got to where she would sign consistently someone up every day. Then she got to where she would consistently sign a couple people every day. Went diamond, was like a $5,500 a month diamond. Recently went double diamond, just had a $8,600 check at double diamond. And she's enrolled like between customers and distributors, like 40 plus, you know, for the last 4 or 5 months in a row. And so she's just flying through the ranks right now because she had that day. She had that never again moment.
She's a green.
It clicked and everything came together. And she just said, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to skip a day. If it's, you know, the reason John Maxwell's written 100 books is because every single day he writes, whether he feels like it or not, whether he's sick or not, whether it's his kids' birthdays or Christmas or not, he just does it every single day. So I know that when the results get important enough for all of us on here, I mean, I saw Ashley share a little bit ago, 114 days went from 0 to 10,000. Well, I guarantee behind that was some serious fuel and some massive action and some putting some things on hold and getting laser focused like a heat-seeking missile. And we all have that. And, you know, and take it from a couple of screw-ups here because we've been screw-ups. And so many people, if you learn some of the stories of some of the ambassadors in the company, I mean, they're a lot like us, just crazy backgrounds, you know, gone through some stuff you never would have thought that these people like us would be some that were going to the top levels.
Let me tell you guys something. God will use anybody, but he especially, if you just look at the disciples that Jesus chose, that God chose, literally, they were mostly all screw-ups. And you know why? Because those people make the best. God gets to get the glory when you get right, and God starts redeeming all of those broken places in you, and then no one else gets glorified but him. So he loves to use people that have really, really colorful pasts. And so if I just sat here before you right now and I look in your eyes, I would just, man, you guys, God has got so much in store for you. God has got so many incredible things. And he's literally just standing there with his hand open to you right now. And he's just like, baby girl, I'm giving you this. All you've got to do is take it and put in the work. If you only knew what is on the other side of this mountain or this valley right now that you feel like you're in. Do you guys understand that the valley times are so incredibly important? In the valley, everything is so lush and so green, and the soil is full of nutrients, and you're just growing like a weed in the valley. And so you're getting ready and getting prepared, because guess what? When you make it to that mountaintop time that you want to be in so bad, you want to promote, you want to be there, and you want that recognition, but what you don't realize is that God loves you so much that he does not want the weight of that next promotion to crush you, because he knows when you get up to that mountaintop, it becomes barren. He knows that the winds are going to hit you at such force that you've got to be anchored in and deeply rooted so that you don't get blown off the top of that thing. There is a weight that you have when you promote in this company, and it's a good thing if you have the grace and the mindset to do it. But so many promote and lose it because they weren't ready. They forced it before it was their time. I'm telling you, if you embrace where you're at right now, and instead of being like looking around saying, why is she there? And why does she have that? And I'm at least good enough. I'm better than she is. Why does she have what I have? Like, why? Why don't I have that? If you can put those blinders on and have that moment where you just say, okay, God, what do I need to change in me? What is missing here? What do I need to do to become the leader that you can trust, that you can bring and give the people to? And if you just get real quiet and you listen, you guys, I'm telling you right now that everything will shift. Something in the heavenlies will shift, and the atmosphere around you and around everyone that is near you is going to change, and God will begin to bring those people into your life. But you know what, guys? Faith doesn't just happen. It's great that you have faith. It's great that you say, oh, I want to go diamond. Oh, I want to go double. Like, that's great. Believe that. But then you have to put in the action steps. Now you have to come up with a plan, and you have to be consistent and diligent. And that's where God meets you. He meets you in that moment where you activate your faith and you go to work. And so at the end of the day, for anyone that's sitting here right now and you're wondering, am I worthy of being successful? Yes, you are. God sees you. And you know what? He loves you. And he wants to change your whole legacy. but you have to be willing to partner with him and stop looking left and stop looking right. And you were designed and created to be unique and to be you. You are not supposed, your journey in It Works is not supposed to look like mine. It's not supposed to look like Amy's. It's not supposed to look like Ashley's. Your journey is yours and yours alone. God will give you, if you really just get here vertical with God, he will give you strategic ways to build your business that are unique and tailored to you. So stop trying to be who you're looking at and start being who God created you to be. Because there's only one Jaree, there's only one Amy, there's only one Ashley. There's only one you. So go and do what God is calling you to do and be amazing, because I'm telling you, you guys, this is just the beginning. Like, God's just started writing your story. So if you're sitting in a funk right now, or you're in that valley, then soak up the nutrients, soak it up and figure out what it is. How can you change so that God can use you in a mighty way?
Yeah, that's so huge.
So now you guys all see why I love this couple so much, but I obviously could listen to them for like another 2 hours, but I know that their night needs to go on. But Chad, Jaree, I have to ask you, like, I have 2 topics real quick, 2 questions, and you don't have to expand on them. But obviously I've witnessed your whole, your journey for the last 5.5 years, because that's how long I've been a part of It Works. And I know, just like everyone, like, your journey always hasn't been like this with It Works, right? So can you kind of just talk about that? Because Chad, you're the one thing about it, I got to know you a lot more on my panel, but you're so good about talking about the action and and Jaree even talked about it. Like you're preaching to me, and we want these things and we have the belief even, but if there's no action behind it and no consistent, you're not going to get it. And so we just talk about that a little bit, like you're downhill a little bit, and then just like what you guys did and why you didn't give up.
Yeah, so just like every year has 4 seasons, right? We're always going to have winter and summer and spring and fall. We always have those seasons, and our lives are the same way. We go through different things in life. We have different seasons, and one of the best things about this business and this industry is that we can build something great. So when the season comes along where you need to take a month off, that you can take a month off and your check can still go up. So what you got to understand is when you can, you got to put the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, because you're going to get so much more done so much faster. Dave Ramsey, who, if you guys have never heard of him, he's definitely worth following his podcast, and like a financial guru and how to get debt free. And we had his daughter, Rachel, at a conference 5 years ago or something like that. But he talks about how to create momentum. And our business is all about momentum. And the formula that he talks about is focused intensity over time multiplied by God equals unstoppable momentum. So what we understand for us as the ebb and flow of this business is that if Jaree and I put a focused team on board, 90-day run in, usually a couple times a year, right? So a couple hardcore 90-day runs in, we know that we can break through barriers. We know we can break through ceilings. We know we can get further. And that's how we've gotten to where we have, Jaree's position is a solid ambassador. I'm a solid presidential. And then our 2.0 account is a very solid triple account. So we've built a barrier of a financial barrier around our family that is very, very strong from having this mentality. So typically coming out of conference is a great time to do a 90-day run. Like we'll do a whole team focused 90-day run out of that. We'll usually do a 90-day run later in the year. And you can choose right now that you're going to do a 90-day. You don't have to wait till conference next year. You don't have to wait until, kids go back to school or whatever. You can say, hey, I'm starting my 90-day run right now because you need things to change right now. And just like Ashley said, she said 114 days. We told you in 101 how our checks went from $2,000 to over $40,000 in 101 days. And you guys can get what you need to get done in about 90 days. Now, you can't go 25 though and then take 10 off. That leads to frustration and irritation. The way this industry works is the way an airplane takes off the runway. I mean, you got to go full throttle, and that airplane uses a lot of its gas in its tank to get to 10,000 feet coasting, flying altitude. Because like Mike said on the call the other day, when you start coasting, you don't go up any further. When you go into coast mode, you start slowly losing altitude, right? It's just normal. It's the law of gravity, right? That's what happens. So you have to understand, you got like my sister, you guys would love her. She just recently went presidential, and she talked on our team call the other day about not just climbing out of the mud. Maybe you're down in a hole right now and your nose is above the mud and your eyes, and that's about it. You got to explode out of the mud. You got to explode out of the mud like you've never exploded before. And that means all out, massive action where people think you're crazy.
Because you guys here, put this into perspective. If I told you that if you did a 90-day run, or I'm just going to use 101 days because that's what it took for us. I was getting paid as a diamond, okay, at the beginning of this 101-day run. So what's that, a couple $1,000s a month, okay? We went double the next month, okay? And our check went to $9,000. We went triple the next month, and our check between the two of us was $22,000. We went presidential the following month, and our check was over 40. If I told you that if you did 101 days, that it would be worth it for you to just kind of shut everything else down, feed your kids, make sure your hubby's taken care of, but that you just really focused on this business and that you could make 5 figures a month in 101 days, would it be worth it? And would you do it? I would hope that all of you would say yes. Like, yeah, if I knew that at the end of 101 days, if I did ... I would be making 5 figures a month, then I guarantee you would do what it took. Yes. I mean, drop it in here. If you're serious, I want you to be bold and put it in this chat. I want to know who's serious. If you knew that it was guaranteed that you would make 5 figures after 101 days of hardcore, would you do it?
And forever, because listen to this. So for us, I worked hard. I grind 11 years in the military, right? Never got to 6 figures. Our best year was like 75,000. Okay. Goal 6 figures, on our way, slowly going up, going to get there eventually. First full year in It Works, 2013, we went from never making 6 figures to multiple 6 figures. And we've never made less than that since. And we can point back to that first 101-day run in our business, because that's where we went from diamond to presidential. We've never, ever lost presidential. We've always been presidential or above since then. Every single year, 200,000 or more since then, because of that massive activity. Because once you do it once, you're like, oh, that's what that feels like. You can do it again. And we've done it a couple times. One time we fell out of the top 100.
Oh my gosh, you guys, I totally had a meltdown. Okay. I fell out of the top 100. Mark had a cocktail party at like a green carpet. Okay. And I didn't even know I fell out of the top 100. But I had gotten invited to everything. I'm just going to be real with you, okay? Can I be real with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, I was a little crybaby. I like to call bitch babies. I was a little bitch baby. I fell out of the top 100. I didn't know it. There was a cocktail party, and I didn't get invited. Okay.
And she was like, excuse me.
No, that's not what I said.
Right
no,
email.
That's not right. But I did message Kate, who was Mark's assistant at the time, and I was like, oh, hey, I think somebody made a mistake. I didn't get my invitation. And then she was like, actually, honey, it was only for the top like 90 some or whatever it was. And so you didn't make it. And I was like, I was so devastated. But here's my point, you guys. I was so wrapped up in being a certain number that I had lost sight of what I was really doing in this business. I'm in this business to inspire people, to share my testimony, because there's so many women that were sexually abused like I was that don't feel like they could ever be successful. So my job isn't to make it and be a certain number, although that's great because I'm red and I love that. But I realized in that I was really, really broken and I was looking at the wrong things, because I am not supposed to make my number an idol. I'm not supposed to identify with that. That's not my identity. My identity isn't even Ambassador Diamond. My identity is not top 20. My identity is not any of those things. My identity is I am a daughter of the Most High King, period. End of story. And everything that I have is because of him. And when I lost sight of that and I began to put all of these other things before him, and I had that serious meltdown, you guys, where I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried to the point where I did not I was supposed to be in we used to do fashion shows. I was supposed to be in it the next day. I had cried so much the night before that my eyes were swollen.
She left me hanging. Yeah.
So I didn't go. I didn't even show up to the the event because I was so messed up. That's how much I had allowed myself to get wrapped into it. So I fell out. And I will never forget, Pam Souter had a dinner or a get-together for Ambassador Diamonds. And I was like, I'm not going. If I'm not good enough to go to this cocktail party, then I'm not going to this thing. Jade Hooper, she called me out. She's like, get your ass here right now. So it's like 10:30 at night, and I was not going. I was being a little bitch baby. And I was like, fine, I'll go. So I show up thinking it's pretty much over by that point because it started way earlier in the day. I get there, and guess who's sitting there? Mark and Cindy Pentecost. You guys, this is the heart of our company, and this is why I will never, ever leave. I walked in, and they were waiting for me. They had heard because Kyler
She started having a breakdown in front of Kyler.
Well, listen, this is what had happened was Kyler is very Holy Spirit led, and he came in and he sat by me, and I was holding it back really good. And he sat next to me, and he put his hand on my arm, and he was just like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine. And he's like, no, really. How are you? And I was just like, and I just let it all out because everybody was asking me what I was wearing to the cocktail party that I didn't get invited to, and I was just completely losing my mind. So anyway, when I walked into Pam's house, they had heard that I was really, really upset. And so you know what they did? They could have just been like, we don't owe this girl anything. They said, Jaree, we have been waiting for you to get here. Come over here. And they put their arms around Chad and I, and they said, you guys are not just a number to us. You mean more to us than that. And we know that you can do it again. And we want you to know that we love you and we believe in you. And Mark, of course, he's like, I know how red you are, and I'm red too. And I know how it was hard for me when I fell out of the top, whatever. He's like, but you have a choice right now. You can either feel sorry for yourself, or you can just borrow some of our belief and go do what I know you're capable of. You guys, I went home. First, I prayed, and I gave God all the idols that I had made in my life. Idolatry of success, idolatry of ambassador, idolatry of top leader, idolatry of it works, idolatry of whatever the hell it was that God brought to my mind. And I said, I give this all to you because I don't want it if you're not in it. So I am going to partner with you, God, and I'm going to do what I can do, and I'm going to go to work. So that next month, I recruited 31 people, was the top enroller in the entire company, and got back into the top 100. And get this, the top 75 were the ones that went to Dash. Guess who was number 75? 75! I made it. But you know what? It was because I had to learn that. And so learn from my mistakes right now. If you've got your identity wrapped in any false gods, idols, throw all that crap away because it's not doing you any good. It's holding you back, and it's a literal weight on your shoulders right now. I'm preaching tonight. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't usually do this, but for whatever reason, I just feel God's glory right now, and I just feel like you guys need to understand this. He loves you. And if you will just partner with him and you will trust him, then everything is going to change for you.
And how crazy is this? I will have to tell you, I had a really long Zoom with Amber Parker on Friday, Jaree, and tonight I had thought it was going to go a different direction, but I really believe like God told you to just give this message tonight, because not only did I need to hear it, but really so many people on this Zoom tonight needed to hear it. It's so crazy how this is all, it's not crazy, it's God. But anyways, okay, so obviously you got to work. What is that? And I know I'm in 5 more minutes of your time, if that's okay. But those daily things that are so important. Chad, can you just talk about that for a minute? Those, the action behind all of it.
Yeah. So I always keep the three guidelines in place. Our exposure is everything. The fortune is in the follow-up, and work with the willing. Okay. And if you keep those three things in front of you, you won't do the wrong stuff. You won't do a bunch of time waster stuff that'll distract you. You won't do a bunch of talking people off the cliff because you're working with the willing. You're remembering that exposure is everything, which means you have to constantly be talking to brand new people, which means you have to always have a funnel of new people to talk to, whether you're blitzing or you're following on Instagram to get people to follow you, or you're adding new friends on Facebook. Once you hit 5,000, you can always print off your Facebook friends list and go through the list. And by the time you get through all 5,000, you can go back through the list. And as you're going through the list, there's going to be people that you're deleting and you're making room for new people, right? If most of you right now went to, especially if you're maxed out, if you went to Facebook on your computer, you'd see you probably have 100 or 200 people that don't even have a profile picture. And you can just go through and just start deleting them because they've deactivated their account probably. And so that's taking up a spot on your friends list. So you have to just have a plan, right? You got to have a plan and say, I'm going to be adding new people to my network every single day so that I have new people to talk to every single day. When you're talking to new people every single day, then you have new people to follow up with every single day. Not just follow up Friday, but be following up with people every single day. And so I love the analogy of a deck of cards, because literally if you can teach your team, if you'll do this yourself and teach your team to just expose 2 brand new people every single day, you'll get your steps to success done every single month, right? And we've never, ever, and I've tracked this on our team, we've never had anybody ever in 7 years almost that have done their steps every single month for 12 straight months and not been at least double diamond. I don't even think it's possible. I would own in the company's done that, that's done their steps every single month. You know, a lot of times we'll have someone that does their steps for like 3 months and then they don't for a couple months, and then they do it a couple more months, and that's not getting the massive action in that we need to get in. So if you think of a deck of cards, there's 52 cards in a deck, right? If you think of 2 exposures a day times 30, that's 60, right? And take away the weekends. Maybe you didn't get 2 in on a Sunday, so take away 8. That's 52. So imagine that those cards, the aces are distributors. So that's 4 distributors you're signing every month. And if the face cards, and there's 12 of those, are customers or someone who tries a product, that's 12 every single month. Now you're signing 4 distributors and 10, 12 loyal customers every single month by just doing 2 a day. And here's the thing, don't get caught up. Don't follow up too many times like with the one person. Don't get caught up on these 5 need to join right now. Have so many people in your funnel, right? I like to call it a funnel because you expose people, you follow up with people, and they eventually block you or disappear or ignore you, or they join, right? I mean, it's the same thing. It's people, and we need people to join as customers, people to join as distributors. So here's what's so cool is if you're keeping this deck of cards analogy, once you figure out how to consistently go through a deck in a month and consistently do your steps, now you can choose to go. You can go through a deck every 2 weeks. You can go through a deck every week. Some people are going through multiple decks a week. And it all boils down to, what do you want? And to understand the numbers, right? Jim Rohn would call it the law of averages. The girl I was telling you about earlier that's doing 8,600 as a double diamond, she reached out to me last week and she said she knows her numbers. She knows when she has a host post that's popping and she gets 30 comments in that host post, she knows she's going to sign 8 to 10 customers off that host post because she's got about a 30% close rate when someone says they're interested from a host post. So when you figure that out, now you can recruit on demand.
You may not know those numbers. And that's
you may not, and you don't need to know. All you need to know is, here's what I did today, and here's what I've been doing every day for a week, and here's how many people signed up this week.
So when you say 2 new exposures a day, that means you're literally just talking to 2 new people a day.
Yeah. But when we say exposures, like for us, we are getting them to the process of talking about becoming a distributor.
Yes.
And we're asking them if they want to do it or not. And how, like, one of the things that Chad is so genius at is he'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being you're not interested at all, and 10 being you're like ready to sign up right now, where would you say you are? And no matter what they say, whether they say they're a 3, a 5, or a 7, you can just say, okay, so what's it going to take to get you to be a 10? And
Chad,
then
I got that from you.
He's amazing. I'm telling you.
I got that from you in like my first year of the business, and I use that, and I tell my team to use it, and I think they look at me like I have 5 heads. I'm so glad you're saying this.
Yes, that's original. You guys, that's how
we use that all the time.
That's how we sign people.
All the time.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Because they always answer. They always answer me when I say it.
And if you didn't know what their color was before you asked that question, you will. Because if they say that they're like a 7.25, you know they're green.
Oh my gosh. Only greens will say a point.
A decimal, they will give a decimal point. That's not a joke. And
I wondered who I think I watched a video where I was on a training where you were, I don't know, but I got that like a year and a half into my business and I've used it since.
That's why I love third party. I tell people all the time, third party is the best party.
Yep.
Because like Cammie asked the other day, she said, hey, the first Tuesday of the month, are people getting on her lives that she's doing? Because when you get someone on a live like that, they are getting a good third party exposure. When you get someone on a three-way call, they're getting a good third party exposure. The best thing about third party is it's so duplicatable, because an 18-year-old can do it to a CEO of a company, right? An 18-year-old can give a CEO of a company a 3 to 5 minute video or a 15-minute video or whatever, and then ask, what did you like the most? What did you like the most about that video? What is your opinion of the video? Is this something you'd be interested in? On a scale of 1 to 10, these different types of questions. So when I say exposure, I'm not saying text 2 people, a day.
No, this is getting, you have to collect.
You guys go through some numbers to get to some people who are open. Yeah, people that are open, that you're taking them from not knowing about It Works, and they're willing to listen to now they know about It Works. 2 of those a day.
Okay, so one of you'd asked a specific question, and so I want to get in on this because I know you guys probably want the meat. And so 4 things that I feel like is really important that you do every day. Posting. Get really good at making good quality posts. You guys, you should be causing people to feel something when you post it. Don't be spammy, really from the heart. If you just did one really good lifestyle post and one really good product post that's non-spammy, where it's like you're just talking about the freedom that you have. And if you're struggling to find content, this is what I have all my newbies do. I have them write down 5 things that they would do with an extra $200 a month. 5 things they would do with an extra $500 a month, and 5 things they would do with an extra $1,000 a month. I want them to start dreaming and think about what they would do. And then I want them, they have 15 days worth of posts to make based off of that. They can go in and then talk about what this company is going to do for them and paint a picture. Not only then are they connecting, you'll be connecting to the things that you write down. It will start to build belief for you, but it will also begin to paint a picture for what is possible for the people that are out there. So you want to evoke emotion in people when you're making posts. Don't just slap something up or copy and paste something that somebody else did. Copying and pasting is fine. Just change it and make sure that you're putting your story in there so that you're pulling on the heartstrings of somebody. And never, ever, ever forget how impactful and important it is to share the little things. If It Works paid for gas in your car, then put that. If It Works allowed you to buy some organic groceries or paid for diapers or formula, post about that. Mamas everywhere are sitting on social media just waiting for an opportunity to come, and all they're wanting is to be able to afford formula or be able to afford groceries or diapers, and you have the answer to their prayer. So posting, very important. Messaging. Those of you that are scared to death to message, get the heck over it. Get over it. If you're not out belly to belly and getting in front of people on a regular basis, then you're not working your business if you're not messaging. You have to get over yourself, and you have to get over the fear of being rejected. You know what? It's yes or no. They might block you. Oh, well, who cares what other people think of you? People's opinions do not pay your bills, so you can't afford to care what they say. Your job is to collect a yes or a no or a not right now. And you remember this, your job is to collect those decisions. We plant the seeds, God grows the trees. So that'll come to fruition eventually. Messaging, following up. Chad touched on that, so I don't need to go there. Growing your network. Send friend requests. You guys be picky about this. Don't just go randomly send friend requests to people. Go find an old high school girlfriend that you went to school with, and go find their friends and look at their pages before you send the friend request. If they are a little, like over the top and negative, then you don't want them on your team. So just don't even waste your time. Find quality people, and do the same thing on Instagram when you're following. Don't just get in that zone. You want quality people that you would want to work with.
Yeah, in marketing, they call that identifying your avatar. It's who do you want on your team? Why do you want, what are they what are they into? What is their character like? Make a list. And then when you see someone, that's what recruiting is. Like if you were going to be a recruiter for, say, a college volleyball team or something, you would go into the high schools and you'd be looking for a certain type of thing. And you know what Jaree and I are always looking for, and we tell people all the time, is people who are teachable, willing to work, and have some ambition, or otherwise known as burning desire. People that just know something's pulling them to want more, and they're not all just like willy-nilly, you know, drifting. Like that doesn't work out very well. As I'm sure all of you have had some drifters probably drift onto your team and drift off to your team, right? So that's not like our avatar or what we're looking for. So just know what you're looking for, and then friend those people. Fill your friends list up with exciting, passionate people. And I don't mind sometimes if even people are negative if they're passionate, because what I love about passionate people, they'll go 100 miles an hour some direction, and if they're going the wrong direction, they just find out faster than everyone else. And they're like, oh, that was bad, that was wrong, let me try and go this way. And those are people that when you win them over, like Jaree was so skeptical. She was like telling her friend, that's a scam.
Oh,
you
know,
guys.
Don't
let them buy that stuff.
Listen, don't give up on that really, really big jerks, because I was really thinking. I tried to talk her out of not doing it. And then once I tried it, I had to eat humble pie. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then I know you guys all need to go, because I think that
we went.
This is, I know we did. We're really over. Hold on.
You don't understand how I'm loving this.
Okay, you guys, this is text replacement.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably backwards. Whoops.
Yeah.
I want you to see this though. This is text replacement for so many. And yes, it took me a while to get this in my phone. But if you are messaging people, it makes it so much easier to go through. Messaging like 100 people at least a day is really good. And it doesn't take very long if you take the time to do that. And so you can just go through, I'm sure in your team pages, you have different host to post. Like I just have different things like cleanse, like greens, like Thermophyte X, you know, and I just have it all in there so that it's at my fingertips. And so that's something, if you take the time to do, is really going to change your business. So at least 100 a day. That's where our sweet spot is when I am messaging, is 100 a day. And that could be sending out hosted posts, that could be following up with people, that could be asking them to join my team. It's just getting really bold and not being afraid to offer people what we have. And you'll be really surprised.
And you guys don't message 100 people a day on Monday and Tuesday, but you take Wednesday and Thursday off, and then you maybe do 75 on Friday and 20 on Saturday, do you? It's consistent every day.
Yeah, and if 100 is like, whoa, I can't do that, that's fine. Then say you're going to do 20 a day and be consistent every day with 20. But if you really want massive action and you want to make full-time money, then your perspective has to shift, and you have to get better at being consistent and being your own boss. You have to like set that time. But I can send out 100 messages in an hour, because I've just gotten fast at it. And it's easy. And then I have stuff, and if I do that early in the morning or late at night, then I've set my whole day up. I'm getting responses all day long. So I've got that going on, and there's things happening. So just become really intentional with your business, and you'll really start to see things change.
I'll give you guys one scripture to leave you with, and then I know we're done.
Well, no, but I wanted to ask you something, Chad. So before you give the scripture, you can also talk. You guys, we didn't even get to talk about self-development, but I know these two, they totally believe in it. And I've preached to you guys, don't wait until 4.5 years in your business to realize that you need to, have self-development. But with that being said, if you want to hear more from Chad has published a book. And Chad, if you could just talk about your book and give us the title so we can all go buy it, and tell us where to buy it.
Okay, so it's called Finding Happy, and 10 Keys to Living an Extraordinary Life. And something that I know we all have in common is we all want to be happy. And so I break it down, and it's just full of stories of Jaree and I's life and things we've gone through as we've found happiness and what that looks like for ourselves. And if you want like a signed copy or you want a hardback, you can go to findinghappybook.com, and then that ships right from my house. So I'll sign it for you and send it to you. If you're not worried about that and you just want a softback, or you want it on Audible, or you want it on Kindle, or you want it however other way, then you can just go to Amazon and get it on Amazon that way. So I'm getting a lot of great feedback, and if you do get it, I would love to hear Awesome. I would love to hear some feedback, and just what you guys like about it and how it's helping you, because then I know how I can better help and serve other people too. So one of the scriptures that I share in the book, and I kind of just felt led to kind of wrap it up with this, is because this is a big part to really get. Hebrews 12:11 talks about that no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Okay, so that's a hard obstacle to get past, because if we feel like something's not pleasant but painful, we're out on that. That's why so many people want to lose 20 pounds, 50 pounds, or whatever. We don't, because it's painful, right? No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of peace and righteousness for those who have been trained by it. In this business, no one is going to force you to be disciplined. You've got to be disciplined yourself. You've got to figure that out. It has nothing to do with how you feel and everything to do with your commitment. Commitment is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling you said it in has left you. Okay? When you become committed and when you become disciplined, you are on track to being highly successful and it works. You're on track to having some serious happiness in your life. Because when you get disciplined about your business, you get disciplined about your working out. When you get disciplined about working out, you get disciplined about your finances. You get disciplined about your finances, everything in your life starts to level up. You get disciplined about friendships and relationships and parenting and
true.
house. All of it helps each other.
It's like a ripple effect, and then you start seeing your life change in the positive. Like, that is so true.
And you start enjoying it. You create the new habits, and you start going, "Wow, now I see what the payoff is." Right? Because we all want the ambassador pay. Every person that joins looks at the chart and goes, "I'll take that one at the top." Right? The $30,000 a month or whatever. We all want that, but there's a price to be paid. And if you ask me, there's always a price to be paid. There's a price we can pay now up front, and we can live the luxurious life where we don't have to worry about finances and things down the road, or there's the price where we can enjoy more now, and we spend our golden years working at the Golden Arches, cleaning off tables, or whatever it takes to get through that. So anyway,
I so appreciate you guys. Like, I don't know. I hope you guys become, with this John Maxwell thing, like public speakers, because I seriously could listen to you guys for hours. You fed me so much. And I know that it was no coincidence me asking you to talk to our team, because I swear all of this was just in line. It was like hook, line, and sinker. It was awesome. So I appreciate you two so very much. Travel safe tomorrow. I cannot wait to see what you guys are up to, but just know that I am one of your biggest fans. I know Ashley can say the same thing. You guys go buy his book because I've heard it's awesome, and I definitely want a signed copy, Chad. When you see Amy Spence's order come through, you better write me like a little nice message.
Of course. And I just want to say thank you for thinking of us and having us on here. We don't take this for granted. We always come with the intention that we can just at least change one person's life. It's always our goal.
And Jaree, I just appreciate your honesty, your boldness, talking about your past and your history. It's so funny. I've been reading a book by Jamie Ivey about being more bold with your story, and it's something that God's been putting on my heart. I'm going to cry, but just you being so brave. So I appreciate that so much. But anyways,
you listen. Can we close this out and pray over you guys?
Yes.
Lord Jesus, I just thank you so much for this incredible team. I thank you for Amy to just ask us to be on here, and it was Spirit-led, God, and I just thank you for her heart to lead, and I just pray that you would pour out a double portion blessing over this whole entire team. God, as their hearts got stirred up tonight, and you started really working things out in them, I just pray that you would give them the boldness to give these things up to you and make you Lord of their lives and Lord of their business, because we know at the end of the day, you're the best CEO of our business. And so, God, I just pray that you would begin to break off these strongholds that they've had, the strongholds in their minds where they feel like that they're not good enough, that they feel like they're not worthy of this. And I just pray, God, that you would begin to rise up, that they would rise up and become who you created them to be. Stop looking left, stop looking right, and that you would just lead them in such a way, God, that it would just be so much favor and blessing. I pray that you would just pour out your spirit right now, God, that there's some people here that they just don't know you. And so I pray that you would give them a boldness just to talk to one of us and let us know that they want to take that step and they want to have a relationship with you. And so, God, I just thank you. Thank you, God, for this opportunity. Thank you that you made our mess into your message, and that we're able to share from a place of being healed from the brokenness that we've had in our past. And I just thank you that we get to be a vessel of hope, and that, God, that's not just our testimony, that you have that same testimony for everybody that's on here right now. You really want to touch them in the deepest, darkest parts of their soul, and you want to unbreak their hearts, and you want to just be with them. And so, God, I just pray that their story would begin to unfold, and that you would give them a spirit of boldness, that they would not be timid, but that they would be bold and begin to share things as you lead them to, where they can not be ashamed, but they can show people that, look, I used to be here, but this is where I am, and this is where I'm going. And I pray that as they do that, God, and out of obedience of doing that you would just release power over them and over their business, where they would just know that it's you, because people are going to come and flock to their business in droves because of who they are, because they don't have to stand and be in bondage and be afraid of what people are going to think about them, because they are redeemed in Jesus' name. And I pray, God, that you would just right now raise them up. I just call out the spirit of boldness so that you guys could go forth and be all that he's called you to be.
And Father God, and I just pray right now, Lord, for the gift of sight. Lord, I pray that next time every single one of these people look into the mirror, Lord, they would see themselves through your eyes. Father God, I pray that they would see that they are enough, and that they're loved unconditionally, Lord. They don't have to perform. They don't have to do anything, Father, and that you, as the ultimate Father, Lord, you love each one of us exactly the way that we are, Lord, and you see us. You see us through the cross, Lord, and you see that we are blameless, Father God. You see us as being perfectly and wonderfully made. And I pray, Father, every single person on here would see that, Lord, next time that they look into the mirror, Lord. And I just agree with Jaree about having courage, Lord, and boldness. I pray that they would hear your still small voice, Lord, have the courage to message that person or tap that person on the shoulder in the grocery line, Lord, and just be bold and move when you say move, Father God. And Lord, I just pray that you would give everyone the understanding here, Lord, that we all represent hope for so many people, Lord, that are drowning in their lives right now, Lord. They're drowning. They don't see a way out, Lord. And then we get to come in their life, Father. Every single person on here represents a difference, Lord, represents a new beginning, a new chapter in so many people's lives, Father. So as we go out and we message and we text and we tap on shoulders, Lord, and we enter into people's lives, I pray, Father, you would give us the boldness. I pray that your Holy Spirit would speak through us. You would give us the right words to say that person needs to hear, Lord, and that we would see ourselves as a lighthouses, and that we are here, Lord, and you're giving us the firm foundation. We can build our house on you, Father God, and that people will come from all around because of the hope that we offer. We pray all these things, Father, in your name.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys have a great trip, and thank you guys for getting on. I'm going to post the recording, but please, if anything, spread the word to your team that everyone needs to listen to this Zoom. So anyways, thank you guys. Have a great day.